In the red corner, weighing in at approximately 9 pounds, all the way from Indonesia, it's the Squier Classic Vibe 70s Jazz Bass. In the blue corner, weighing in at approximately 1 metric ton, it's the Harley Benton JB-75. Let's get ready to rumble! Hi, my name's Johnny, and today we are finally answering the age-old question, which 70s jazz bass will come out on top, pitting two of the most popular, affordable jazz basses together. So you might have seen already my previous videos on both the Squier and the Harley Benton. But now I thought we would make sure we've got exactly the same strings, exactly the same settings, playing exactly the same things, and see which comes out on top. This video might be for those who are tossing up between these two basses and can't quite decide which is for them. So we're going to be ranking these two bad boys out of 5 in a number of categories. That being looks, hardware, feel, build quality, sound, and overall value for money. Now I say we're going to be rating them out of 5. If I give something a 5 or a 4, that doesn't mean that it's in the grand scheme of things, it's the best thing in the world. It's all relative between these two basses. So let's just bloody get on with it, shall we? I say it again and again, I've got to want to pick up a bass and play it. If it was the best sounding and best feeling bass in the world, if it is an ugly duckling, if it is pointy like a BC Rich or something like that, no offense to people who like BC Riches, they're just not for me. If it was the best sounding and best feeling bass in the world, but I hated the way it looked, I wouldn't want it. I wouldn't want to pick it up and play it. It's got to want to inspire me. And these two basses are fine in that department. They are 70s inspired, so they're classic natural bodies, black pick guards, maple neck, block inlays. Mwah. If you look at them side by side, they are quite different really. The Squier has a much more like tiki stain to the neck, almost makes it look like it's roasted, and that makes it a bit darker than the body, compared to the Harley Benton where it's all kind of the same colour. Definitely more a traditional look with the Harley Benton, and the Harley Benton has a fantastic grain, which is why it's going to get 3 points. It is a great looking bass, but it doesn't blow me away. Some little things hold it back. I don't love the design of the logo, I don't care what it says, I don't care that it's a Harley Benton, I just don't love the way it looks. And the single ply pick guard, yeah, I can give or take it. When it's sitting next to the Squier though, in my opinion, the Squier looks a lot better. That different coloured neck to the body makes it really stand out amongst the crowd. Even on this model in particular, which has a bit of a weirdly coloured wing on it. I think that's awesome. It might not be to you at home, but for me personally, I really like that. And overall, if you're looking at these two models and maybe not just these two here, and combine that with the 70s style logo on that classic headstock for the Squier, I think it takes the top spot. We're going to give it a 4. So talking about the hardware, I'm looking at all the bits and pieces on it. We're looking at our bridge, we're looking at our machine heads or the tuners. And of course, we're thinking about the knobs. So both of these have ups and downs about their hardware, I think. I would say that the knobs on the Harley Benton actually feel a bit nicer than the Squier. Certainly with the Squier, they start to come loose a bit quicker. I think the Squier is slightly easier to do a setup on, and it does have better machine heads overall. So the top spot is gonna have to go to the Squier again, I think. We'll give the Squier a 3, nothing special, and we'll give the Harley Benton, we'll give it a 2 for this one. So for this, some things jump out. I said earlier about the Squier having a different coloured wing to the others, which I personally quite like, but I know a lot of people out there probably won't like that, and it kind of does show that the build quality, maybe the quality control there wasn't so good, because you know that wouldn't normally be allowed to be released in like a high-end Fender factory. But that's just a cosmetic weird thing from quality control rather than the actual build quality or how the components are put together. Although I guess that kind of does count with that. I don't know, I'm going to mark it down for it anyway. Apart from that, the only other issues with the Squier is the fret sprouting. It's not bad. It is not bad by any means. It is still a great job. But when I did my blindfold comparison of these two, the Squier had more sprouting when you're getting above the 12th fret compared to the Harley Benton, which is so surprising because the Harley Benton is like half the price. So again, taking that over to the Harley Benton, like I said, the sprouting is absolutely fine, no issues whatsoever, and I've not really got any other issues, I don't think. There is a similar thing where there is two separate bits of wood put together that you can tell the grains apart on this, but it's certainly not as noticeable straight away compared to the Squier, and like I said, I don't really have any other points to grumble about, so I'm going to give the Harley Benton a 4 and the Squier a 3. Okay.
Can you feel the bass
Tonight. When we're talking about feel, I'm talking about how it feels in your hand. Does it feel nice to play? And of course the feel is definitely a personal preference thing, but that's why you're here, to hear my personal preference. It's not facts, it's opinions. Learn the difference. Now, being a 70s style jazz bass, you're expecting the neck to be quite slim, have a modern C-shaped profile, and that is the case with the Squier. They've nailed it. Like it feels like a classic jazz bass, but with this heavy lacquer on the back. And it's the same story with all those classic vibes. My 60s precision bass had the same. Sanded it off and it played so much better, so much nicer. For me, I think whilst the neck is certainly a lot slimmer, the neck definitely has a flatter profile compared to the Harley Benton, but for me personally, I think the Harley Benton feels a bit nicer. There isn't this lacquer on the back, and it doesn't feel like a cheap unfinished neck either. It's a lot faster and more rounded, I think. It's still a slim neck, it's nowhere near like your vintage 50s P-bass necks. It's still really comfortable, easy to get around, and yeah, I just prefer the way it feels. Arguably the most important thing, and that is the sound. All of this was recorded through the Line 6 HX Stomp using the Ampeg SVT4 Pro head with the matching 8x10 cab sim. And both basses are strung with Ernie Ball 105 to 45s. So let me know in a comment down below which you prefer the sound of. It's a tricky one. They're definitely different sounding. I think the Squier has slightly more definition in its notes, more clarity. It's definitely more jazz-based sounding. But on the other side, the Harley Benton sounds really good too. Say if you're after more of that classic Fender sound, the Squier, I suppose it makes sense, is going to get you there. However, the neck pickup in that Harley Benton sounds awesome. Really, really cool. If you want to hear more from both of these basses, don't forget to click in the description of this video where I'll put the links to both of the reviews. What to score them though? Predictably, I think we're gonna have to say that the Squier, I think because it's more of that classic jazz-based sound and you do get that higher clarity, I think I'm gonna have to give it to the Squier. If you're shopping in this price range, value for money is going to be incredibly important. If you weren't worried about spending lots of money, you'd be spending lots of money. So the Squier new is around £300 and the Harley Benton new is around £120 at the time of recording. These prices seem to fluctuate quite a bit, so I'll put on screen what the accurate price is for the UK right now. The Squier is pretty much double the amount of money compared to the Harley Benton, and that's without taking into consideration things like shipping and import charges, because the Harley Bentons are coming from Germany, from Thomann, it's their in-house brand. Maybe you need to take that into consideration as well. Certainly people from America, you're probably going to be paying the same price for these realistically. Overall, I think if we're just looking at the bases and what they're priced at, the Harley Benton is much better value. You are getting a fantastic base still, but for next to no money. It's insane. It never ceases to amaze me. The Harley Benton for value gets a 5, and the Squier, whilst it is still really good value, I'm going to give it a 3. Harley Benton is definitely the next evolution of affordable guitars and value for money at that price point. Milk, 1 sugar, don't leave the tea bag in for too long. So there we go. Overall, the winner is, surprise, surprise, it's the Squier. Hi, it's Johnny from the future. Turns out, I'm not very good at maths. I should have written down the scores during the video rather than just going back and totting them up in the edit, because I got it wrong. It was actually a draw between the two. Now, I don't know what this means for the fate of this video. Does that mean that the video is useless? Or does it mean that actually the Harley Benton should be deemed as the winner because it is half the price, pretty much? Obviously, there was no draws in any of the components. They were all very close until the end where there were some disparities. So I think it really depends on what components matter more to you. But yeah, silly old Billy, back to you, past Johnny. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to hit like and comment down below on which you would choose if you had the choice out of these two. I hope you found it useful. Once again, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time.